In the era when VHS tapes reigned supreme, magazine posters adorned bedrooms and fans swooned over movie and TV idols, these guys conquered Hollywood. But time marches on. Some are still on top, others have vanished completely, and some have experienced incredible changes in their journeys. Prepare to be amazed by the transformation of 30 of the biggest heartthrobs of that time. The last name on the list will leave you speechless. Tom Cruise. It only took starring in Top Gun, 1986, for him to enchant the planet. With his charisma and signature smile, he became an absolute icon in the 80s and 90s, starring in hits like Rain Man, 1988, and Mission Impossible, 1996. Daring, he made audacity his identity. Today, he remains vigorous and commands major productions, proving that action and versatility still drive his career. Once a rising star, now a reference for persistence and energy in the film industry. 3 decades later, Cruise remains steadfast, relevant, and powerful. Patrick Swayze. A natural dancer, Patrick Swayze became a global phenomenon in Dirty Dancing, 1987, winning hearts to the rhythm of passionate steps. With seductive features and an athletic build, he established himself as the ultimate heartthrob in the 80s and 90s. In Ghost, 1990, he combined lightness and strength, immortalizing touching scenes. His magnetism mixed impetuosity and emotion, captivating crowds. Even in the face of health complications, he maintained his dignity until the end. His legacy remains a symbol of passion and unquestionable talent. Richard Gere. Before enchanting audiences in Pretty Woman, 1990, Richard Gere was already drawing attention in American Gigolo, 1980. His elegant demeanor and mysterious touch elevated him to the status of a sophisticated heartthrob, dominating Hollywood. In the 90s, he became synonymous with romance, starring alongside Julia Roberts and demonstrating sensitivity in his acting. Today, he maintains the same class, dedicating himself to deeper roles and charitable causes. Gere remains eternally a reference of charm and sophistication in world cinema. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner shone in the 80s and 90s with the charisma imprinted in memorable roles, such as in The Untouchables, 1987, and Dances with Wolves, 1990, a work that earned him an Oscar. A heartthrob with a sober presence, he blended solid leadership and a gentle gaze in the plots he starred in. Whether in romances or adventures, he became a symbol of reliability and talent. Today, he remains active in films and series, maintaining a magnetic presence. His story proves that commitment and versatility guarantee a lasting career. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Coming from bodybuilding competitions, Arnold Schwarzenegger entered Hollywood in the 80s with Conan the Barbarian, 1982, and consolidated his fame in The Terminator, 1984. Although he embodied the archetype of the action hero, he became an icon of muscular charisma, attracting fans worldwide. In the 90s, he had successes like True Lies, 1994, combining humor and adrenaline. After venturing into politics, he returned to the screens, proving that his determination and the famous "I'll be back" remain marked in pop culture. Sylvester Stallone. Launched to stardom as Rocky Balboa in 1976, Sylvester Stallone dominated the 80s and 90s in the world of action films, driven by franchises like Rambo. His robust physique and unforgettable expression guaranteed roles as a tough hero, but also consecrated him as an atypical heartthrob. In Demolition Man, 1993, he added touches of humor. Today, he remains active, revisiting classics and betting on new projects. His journey reflects determination, symbolizing the warrior who overcomes all obstacles. Mel Gibson. With a penetrating gaze and striking smile, Mel Gibson enchanted audiences in Mad Max, 1979, and established himself in the 80s and 90s with the Lethal Weapon franchise. The combination of courage and humor earned him captivating characters. In Braveheart, 1995, he won the Oscar for Best Director, highlighting his versatility. Personal controversies shook his image, but he persisted in directing and acting. Today, he makes independent productions and occasional appearances, recalling the daring heartthrob who inspired past generations. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis reinvented the action hero in the 80s and 90s in Die Hard, 1988, displaying a relaxed style and irresistible sarcasm. Different from the classic big guys, he brought a more vulnerable yet courageous figure. He also excelled in comedies and dramas, proving his versatile talent. In The Sixth Sense, 1999, he showed dramatic depth. Currently, he is reclusive due to health issues, but his legacy as an irreverent star and urban heartthrob remains untouched in the history of cinema. Mickey Rourke. With strong features and a rebellious aura, Mickey Rourke emerged in the 80s in films like Rumblefish, 1983, and 912 Weeks, 1986. His captivating intensity won over audiences, elevating him to a symbol of transgression. In the 90s, he faced a career slump and ventured into professional boxing, altering his appearance and opportunities. Later, he was reborn in The Wrestler, 2008, being applauded. Before, he was the controversial and magnetic heartthrob. Today, he preserves authenticity in roles that challenge limits. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Coming from martial arts, Jean-Claude Van Damme broke out in Bloodsport, 1988, and reaffirmed his fame with Kickboxer, 1989. His acrobatics and spinning kick became his personal signature in the 80s and 90s. With an athletic build and European accent, he obtained the status of a non-standard heartthrob, attracting action fans. Despite ups and downs, he made smaller films, but did not lose his charisma and physical ability. His persistence translates the unwavering spirit of the fighting star. Harrison Ford. In the 80s, Harrison Ford had already become a myth as Han Solo, but he consolidated himself even more playing Indiana Jones in anthological adventures. His serious demeanor and introspective charm transformed him into an unusual, yet irresistible heartthrob. In the 90s, he shone in works like The Fugitive, 1993, and The Devil's Own, 1997. Currently, despite his advanced age, he revisits iconic characters and surprises with his vitality. Ford proves that presence and charisma resist the passage of years. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves drew attention in the 80s with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, but it was in Point Break, 1991, and Speed, 1994, that he became a sensation. His restrained manner and an image of an introspective young man won over generations. In the 90s, The Matrix, 1999, consecrated him worldwide. Discreet in his private life and attentive to fans, Reeves maintains an aura of humility. Today, he alternates action productions, like John Wick, with more contemplative roles. His reputation as a nice guy remains solid. John Travolta. John Travolta first emerged in Saturday Night Fever, 1977, but it was during the 80s and 90s that he consolidated his status as a multifaceted heartthrob. After a difficult period, he resurfaced with Everything in Pulp Fiction, 1994, proving renewed talent and charisma. His dance style and friendly smile elevated him to a pop icon. Then, he varied between comedies and dramas, preserving prestige. Today, he appears in selected projects, reinforcing the greatness of his legacy in cinema. Michael J. Fox. In Back to the Future, 1985, Michael J. Fox became the most famous young man of that era, exuding good humor and lightness. His small stature and genuine charisma seduced audiences in the 80s, yielding successes on TV and the big screen. In the 90s, he continued acting until he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, dedicating himself to raising awareness about the disease. Despite the challenges, he remains loved and respected. Yesterday, the clever and smiling boy. Today, an example of positivity and courage. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer emerged in the 80s in Top Secret, 1984, and Top Gun, 1986, combining beauty and sarcasm in exact doses. Extremely versatile, he lived intense characters like Jim Morrison in The Doors, 1991, and the hero in Batman Forever, 1995. His deep gaze and striking voice aroused fascination. Between career oscillations, he faced health problems. Still, his legacy remains alive, and each return to the spotlight recalls the fearless heartthrob who risked himself in multiple genres. Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe was an essential face of the Brat Pack in the 80s, standing out in The Outsiders, 1983, and St. Elmo's Fire, 1985. With classic heartthrob features and a rebellious air, he won fans everywhere. In the 90s, he faced personal scandals, but turned things around and invested in TV series. Today, he shows professional maturity, alternating between comedy and drama. His charm endures, confirming that talent and perseverance overcome any controversy. Ralph Macchio. Eternized as Daniel LaRusso in The Karate Kid, 1984, Ralph Macchio personified the teenage hero of the 80s, with angelic features and a modest posture. The public identified with his journey of overcoming in martial arts. He continued in the franchise for the following years, maintaining a youthful aura. In the 90s, he appeared in supporting roles, but kept a legion of loyal fans. Decades later, he returned in Cobra Kai, reviving the iconic role and showing that the innocent heartthrob still lives in him. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp started in the series 21 Jump Street, 1987, but it was in the 90s that he emerged as an eccentric heartthrob in partnerships with Tim Burton, such as Edward Scissorhands, 1990. His enigmatic gaze and mysterious air intrigued the public. Versatile, he navigated between romances and dark plots, always drawing attention for his talent. Currently, despite controversies in his personal life, he maintains cult star status. Depp is synonymous with originality, combining beauty, charisma, and peculiar performances in cinema. Brad Pitt. The appearance in Thelma and Louise, 1991, was enough for Brad Pitt to become an immediate sensation, thanks to his captivating look and undeniable magnetism. In the 90s, he exploded in unforgettable roles, such as Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Fight Club, 1999. His striking smile and confidence elevated him to the position of supreme heartthrob of the decade. Later, he also consolidated himself as a producer and award-winning actor. Today, he remains in major projects, blending maturity and elegance. He is a benchmark of style and versatility in cinema. George Clooney. George Clooney gained fame in ER in the 90s, stealing the scene as Dr. Ross. With classic features and a confident demeanor, it didn't take long for him to migrate to cinema, acting in From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, and Batman and Robin, 1997. His captivating smile and self-confidence consecrated him a global heartthrob. Then, he became a renowned director and producer. Today, he divides himself between serious and comedic roles, revealing maturity and engagement in social causes. Clooney remains an icon of sophisticated charm. Denzel Washington. With a firm posture and a gaze that captures attention, Denzel Washington stood out in Cry Freedom, 1987, and Glory, 1989. In the 90s, he consolidated himself as a talented heartthrob, varying between historical dramas and police thrillers, such as The Pelican Brief, 1993. Recognized by critics, he collected awards and the affection of the public. Today, he maintains his reputation as an actor and director, radiating unwavering scenic strength. His journey proves that elegance and integrity sustain a lasting icon. Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon joined the emerging brat pack of the 80s, acting in The Outsiders, 1983, and Rumblefish, 1983. His bad boy air and intensity on set brought him respect. In the 90s, he was in daring films like Wild Things, 1998, and Wonder Boys, 2000, highlighting his versatility. Although less publicized than some colleagues, he maintained his position as an enigmatic heartthrob. Today, he appears in independent productions, proving that talent and consistency overcome passing fads. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen emerged in the 80s in Platoon, 1986, and with a small appearance in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1986. In the early 90s, he made comedy in Hot Shots, 1991. His mischievous smile and comedic timing won over generations. However, personal scandals undermined his image, bringing turbulent periods. Even so, he left his mark on TV in 2.5 Men. Despite the ups and downs, he is still remembered as the irreverent heartthrob who mixed humor and audacity in each role. Emilio Estevez. Brother of Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez participated in the Brat Pack, starring in The Breakfast Club, 1985, and St. Elmo's Fire, 1985. His youthful and charismatic air captivated the teenage audience of the 80s. In the following decade, he gained projection in The Mighty Ducks, 1992, reinforcing his familiar and affectionate side. Although he has reduced the pace of acting, he has dedicated himself to directing. Today, he makes occasional appearances, recalling the charm that marked past generations. Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon became an icon of the 80s by starring in Footloose, 1984, electrifying audiences with dance and youthfulness. His expressive face and natural talent led him to diverse roles, from thrillers to comedies. In the 90s, he consolidated himself in films like Apollo 13, 1995, and JFK, 1991. He demonstrated flexibility without losing the air of a discreet heartthrob. Today, he acts in TV series and independent cinema, exemplifying that artistic longevity depends on dedication and renewal. Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant became the symbol of British romance in the 90s, thanks to Four Weddings and a Funeral, 1994, and Notting Hill, 1999. His polished accent, slight charming stutter, and clumsy manner won over the world. Soon, he was crowned the heartthrob of romantic comedies, stamping posters everywhere. Despite controversies in his personal life, he continued acting in cinema. Today, he wanders through comedic and dramatic roles, embodying the modern gentleman. Kiefer Sutherland. Son of the respected Donald Sutherland, Kiefer drew attention in Stand By Me, 1986, and The Lost Boys, 1987. His penetrating gaze and dark air aroused interest, yielding dense roles in the 80s. Already in the 90s, he participated in Flatliners, 1990, and A Few Good Men, 1992. By migrating to TV, he found enormous success in 24. Although associated with rigid characters, he maintained a certain appeal as an alternative heartthrob. Today, he divides himself between acting and music, prolonging the striking presence he built decades ago. Nicolas Cage. Coming from the influential Coppola family, Nicolas Cage rose to prominence in the 80s with Raising Arizona, 1987. His intense performance and striking expressiveness captured widespread attention. In the 90s, he reached his peak with Leaving Las Vegas, 1995, winning an Oscar, in addition to action hits like The Rock, 1996. A heartthrob with eccentric features, he has always displayed authenticity on screen. Today, he alternates between independent projects and major productions, sustaining the unique fascination that has propelled him for decades. Christian Slater. With a mischievous smile and unmistakable voice, Christian Slater was the favorite rebel of the 80s and 90s. Works like The Legend of Billie Jean, 1985, and Heathers, 1988, gave him the role of a seductive anti-hero. In the 90s, he appeared in Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Hard Rain, 1998. Despite personal tribulations, he maintained a loyal audience. Today, he gains prominence in TV series, reaffirming the talent that made him a symbol of irreverence and peculiar charisma in Hollywood. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes emerged in the 80s and 90s in films like New Jack City, 1991, and Passenger 57, 1992. His trained physique and remarkable acting transformed him into an action star, but he also ventured into comedies and dramas. He was a pioneer in Blade, 1998, paving the way for comic book adaptations in cinema. Between tax problems and breaks, he continued working and preserving the respect of the public. Today, he returns in special appearances, reviving the intense charisma that captivated a generation. So, which of these transformations caught your attention the most? Tell us in the comments what you thought of the topic, and don't forget to subscribe to check out more amazing content like this. Oh, and leave that like to help us out. Subscribe, comment, and like right now.